I'm Luka Orlando, and this is Deck Pass Live.
You're watching Deck Pass Live, presented by Xfinity, and we're coming to you from the Phillips 66 National Championships on the campus of Stanford University. First day is complete, and what an electric day it was. Hi, everybody. I am Jeff Cummings.
And I am Amy Van Dyken. And as Jeff said, we are here live at Stanford Phillips 66 Nationals. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, tonight was awesome. This morning at prelims, spectacular, and it topped it tonight.
I just can't believe what these people are bringing to the pool. They're not messing around.
They're not. It's almost like they looked at what happened in Korea and they were like, oh yeah, you did that? Watch this. I'm going to top you. And they're doing it. It's spectacular.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that men's 100 free was a prime example of that.
Right.
Ryan Held breaking the U.S. Open record twice. And hey, you're here on Deck Pass Live to see our guest today, Ryan Held, joining us fresh off his 100 freestyle.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Not once, but twice breaking the U.S. Open record. 47-4 in prelims, 47-3 in finals. And you dropped a total of 9/10 off your best time. I mean, that's like age group drops.
yeah, that you don't see that very often here in the college swimming world or the professional swimming world. Is like you see 0.01,
right.
0.1 maybe, but 0.9, that's very rare. And so I was thrilled with that time drop.
Well, Ryan, we were watching you, right? And you went out slower this evening than you did this morning. Was that something you talked to your coach about, or did you do it subconsciously?
Yeah, that was actually the wrong strategy. I should have gone out faster, but I think just nerves of now that I know that I can duplicate that race, I have definitely more confidence in myself and my abilities to swim. And I knew those guys were going to come out and go with me, so it was just a little mental game with myself. But I think if I could swim it for a third time, I think I'd know how to do it better.
Well, we're going to take a look at this 100 freestyle because I was extremely impressed by it, just your execution of it. I know you said it wasn't what you planned, but it was just absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to show this race to you. We want you to talk us through it. So there you are. You got a lot of people around you. At this point, I mean, a great start too.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to pride myself on the underwaters, try and kick out to 15, and just try and get that clean water, get at least an arm or head or half body length lead on everyone else.
Right, and there you are in the white cap. You're fourth from the bottom, and here you are coming into the turn.
Yep, this first 50 is all about just easy speed, and then about 15 left in that first 50, just crank on the turn, and then just let it rip this last 50.
When do you start setting up that turn and the finish?
Setting up the turn is 15 meters out, where you took that easy speed, you start to build it up, because if you go fast into the wall, you get fast out of the wall. And then the finish is all just about like how much pain can you tolerate. And from 15 meters out, he's like, you got 1 or 0 breaths left, and then just make it hurt and get to the wall.
It was absolutely amazing. Look at you, your reaction is like, oh, I did it. But you had guys on both sides of you also go under 48. That was spectacular too.
Yeah, and those guys are absolutely great guys. We swim. I've swum against Tate Jackson a million times through college and everything, and he's just a phenomenal guy. And Maxine, we've been on Team USA together, and so I'm really looking forward to what USA can do in 2020.
I was going to say, I mean, when you look at what you've got going on, Caleb going 46, and then all of you guys so tight right there, what do you think leading up into 2020 it's going to take to make the team?
Shoot, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 47-something. I just saw a tweet from David Rader, who is like, this is the 6 U.S. men have been 47 this far, and not one of those persons named Nathan Adrian or the Pan American Games yet. It was like, oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, no pressure at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to know that, when you made the Olympic team in 2016, got 4th, you were 48-2. And now, I mean, that probably won't even make the final in 2020.
Yeah. Like, it's ridiculous how fast swimming is getting and how deep the USA is getting.
What do you think is attributed to how much faster it's getting?
Well, I think a lot of it's Caleb. A saying we always say at NC State is a single tide raises all ships. So, Caleb just pushing the bar that much further was like, all right, well, if I got to beat him, shoot, I got to just put the pedal to the metal and just train and work my butt off.
So watching him and what he did at Worlds, that 46.9, was that kind of I don't want to say pushing you, but a little bit to what you did tonight.
Yeah, no, he definitely, yeah. I think he motivated. I think Caleb motivates everybody to perform at their absolute best because, it's like if you're gonna race the best, you want to put up a good show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have made some big moves recently. You took kind of a gamble and went up to Indiana, and now you're at Alabama training with Coley Stickles. I've done a lot of his workouts. I trained with him for a year, so I know what it's like to train with Coley. Tell the people out there what it's like to a typical Coley Stickles workout, if you can. I don't think there's nothing really typical about them.
Shoot. Okay. So like our Wednesdays are like the most freaky, like what is even going on kind of practices. So it'll be like a dive 25, put on fins. Your fins are on the other side. Put on fins, rip a 25, hop out, do 25 jumping jacks, or 25 jump ropes, hop back in the water, do 7 vertical kicks, tapping a kickboard, and then put your fins back on, and then rip 15 underwater.
That sounds familiar.
It's completely all over the place, but yeah. I touch upon it. I moved twice in like 2 months, so that was not fun. But adversity leads to results. So,
and you definitely have the proof of that. I'm still in shock over 47.3. I know you had it in you, and these past 2 years have been kind of a lot of more downs than ups of you trying to really get to that place where you can prove to yourself that 2016 wasn't a fluke. Just talk about how you were able to keep convincing yourself that 47.3 and the swim you did today were possible.
Well, it's definitely hard to keep just that confidence, self-confidence when it's in like 2 bad summers. Like, oh man, the USA is so fast. You can make up a lot of excuses of why you should not do well. But first, I was just keeping confidence in yourself, keeping your head high, and just have kind of just self-affirmation. Be like, I'm a top-end sprinter. I deserve to be here. I may have had some bad summers, but that's not who I am. This makes me hungrier than ever, and that just came back from that.
Ryan, one thing I was disappointed in your race was your finish, and I'm going to tell you why. Your reaction was not the reaction that we got at the Olympics. So what was going through your head at the Olympics? You became a social media darling up there on that awards podium. It was so touching.
On the podium, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Wait, sorry, what was the question?
For the relay, right? So tonight, your reaction was not what you did on the podium.
In
obviously,
Rio.
Different gold medal.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but so what was going through your head when you were on the Olympic podium that was different than tonight? It went faster tonight.
That was a little bit of everything. I like to tell this story when, and Rowdy Gaines, every time he sees me, he likes to poke fun of this, but when he was introducing the 100 free at the men's finalist, he was like, Caleb Dressel, SEC Swimmer of the Year, NCAA champion, American short course record holder, Nathan Adrian, all these accolades. And then he got to Ryan Held, and he was like, Illinois Swimmer of the Year 2014. Okay. And then it was like, Anthony Irvin. And he had and he showed me the list. He was one bullet point of what my swimming accolades. So that was kind of going through my head. It was I was just a kid from a small town in Illinois. I went to not one of the best swimming programs at the time, and I really wasn't even supposed to make finals. No one pegged me to make finals, and then I made it, and I really wasn't supposed to swim the night relay, but then I was there, and just kind of the journey just flashed through my mind, and seeing the American flag kind of filling up with patriotic joy.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot more on your resume now. Nobody's going to just say Illinois Swimmer of the Year now. You definitely don't do that. If Rowdy does that again, I think he's just really poking fun at you.
Although that is a good accolade, though, still.
Yeah. Hey, Illinois has some good swimmers. I know growing up in Missouri, Illinois always was good, so no slouch to be Illinois Swimmer of the Year. One thing I was thinking about today, obviously when you hit your 47.4 this morning, how were you able to kind of calm yourself down between prelims and finals and not get too jazzed up about the swim?
I think so my old coach Bobby Canturo at NC State, I think he did a phenomenal job about this. He was so good about, once prelims stops, you're not a swimmer anymore. Turn it off. It's don't unfollow swim, unfollow NC State swimming, just watch TV, relax, do whatever. But in between prelims and finals, you're not a swimmer. You're just on a little vacation, take a nap, don't think about swimming, and then as soon as you get to finals, like, turn the switch back on and become like the lethal swimmer you are.
So what did you do today in order to drop that extra time in between prelims and finals?
I paid my Comcast Xfinity bill.
Yes!
Very happy about
We
that.
appreciate that.
Just took a little nap, ate some lunch, and honestly, nothing really to write home about.
Okay.
See, most people play video games or something, and you just kind of just chill.
Yeah, just chilled, yeah.
So that's a very unsprinter-like mentality. Most people want to kind of stay amped through that.
Oh, no.
I know you like to nap.
Oh, I would nap the whole time.
See,
I
I
would
was
get my
not-
sandwich, and then I would be done.
See, I was always not. I always wanted to nap, but I never really could because
Yeah.
I was always. I couldn't turn that switch off.
Let's go. I'm ready for
Yeah,
tonight.
I could never turn that switch
yeah.
off, and my coaches were always really trying hard for me to do that. So I commit anybody who could do that. I can do it now. Naps are not a problem for me now. I have no problem with that. All right, so Ryan, what do you have left the rest of the week?
I have a day off tomorrow, and then I have the 100 fly, and then another day off, and then the 50 free.
You're also great at the 50 backstroke. Have you ever thought about, doing a flip turn, doing 100 back?
I might time trial the 50 back. Yeah. Yeah, I got third at U.S. Nationals last year. I mean, that's really, I become a backstroker for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks out of U.S. Nationals, then U.S. Nationals, then I don't ever touch it again.
Awesome. Have you? By the way, you're in Alabama now. Got to ask, have you been to Dreamland Barbecue yet?
I have. I had a rack of ribs there. Oh, it was so good.
So good with the white bread for sopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had their banana pudding bread.
Oh, yeah.
It was to die for.
Oh, and
Yeah.
City Cafe, you got to go there for breakfast.
Southern City Cafe?
City Cafe, yeah. Well, it might not be there anymore.
downtown?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. We were there quite a while ago.
We don't want to talk about it. You were too.
But I'm glad Dreamland's still there because I could not get away from that. I mean, we had to, the next day at the pool, they had to roll us in because we were eating so much barbecue.
It was so good, though,
It was
right?
so wonderful.
Oh, it was amazing. Their ribs are unbelievable.
Yeah.
They are. Well, you enjoy Alabama. We enjoyed having you. We enjoyed watching you swimming. And good luck for the rest of this meet and leading up to 2020.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you so
Thanks.
much for having me.
Thanks, Ryan. Love it.
All right, so we're going to kind of talk about another race that was really, really exciting. But first, let's take a look at this.
If I could have any pet with no consequences, it would be a miniature black doodle. If I was stuck in an elevator for 12 hours, I would like to be stuck in the elevator with my mom. If I could be a guest star on any TV show, it would be Family Feud. Biggest fear is actually drowning. My Olympic role model is Venus and Serena Williams. They are super inspiring to me because they are minorities in the sport of tennis, and they were able to defy barriers and be so successful in the sport. And they really inspired me to do the same in the sport of swimming. A food that I could eat for a week straight would be pizza. If I had a touchdown dance, I think it would be just me brushing my shoulders off.
Well, hi, everybody. We're watching Deck Pass Live presented by Xfinity, and that was just so much fun getting to know Ryan Held a little bit better.
Wasn't he awesome?
I loved
so
it.
much fun. What a cool guy. It's one of those guys that you listen to and you want to root for even more.
Yes. And like he said, it's going to be so exciting to watch that 100 freestyle. For us, it's going to be exciting. For him, it's probably nerve-wracking knowing that it's going to be decided by hundreds
Oh,
to get
of course.
on the Olympic team.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those nail-biters for sure. And we might have some ties.
We might have, whoa, boy. Swim
Let's
offs for the Olympic team?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, another person we're definitely going to be watching at the 2020 Olympic trials is Luka Orlando. The 17-year-old is really making a name for himself, making his first national title today in the 200 butterfly, and that's our race of the day. So let's take a look at Luka and his 200 butterfly. There he is getting ready. Looks kind of relaxed, Amy.
He looks really relaxed. I love how tall and lanky he is. And then here he is swimming right here into a turn. And I'll tell you what, Jeff, his turns, he bounces off those walls, and his underwaters are really good.
I'm really impressed with that because at 17 years old, it's really tough because you're not as strong as some of these other college swimmers, but he really had a lot of endurance here, and I could tell he was suffering a little bit at the finish. You know, he didn't look like as sharp as he did when I watched him at the tier meet in Clovis.
Right.
But I think that's going to come with some rest. I think he was just maybe swimming through this meet, knowing all he wanted to do was qualify for Junior World Championships. And now that he's done that, I think he's going to actually get in there, get some rest, because he knows what time he wants to do. I was thinking at the 150 that if he had the rest, he can go 152.
That would be amazing. And I will tell you, you could definitely tell he was tired. I almost said there at the end, his finish, he finished with his arms like this as opposed to, you know, streamlined. So I was like, oh, it just hurt a little bit. But he still swam a great race. And he still had that kick, that whippy kick underneath him. And at the end of a 200 butterfly, I think that's really hard to do, and he did a great job doing it.
Yeah, I mean, he was, I think he was 31 on the last 50, which, you know, he was, I think 29 and then 30, so you could tell maybe not the grand piano, maybe the baby grand started to fall on him, and you know, I think that's just with rest, because he's really got a lot of endurance, and he's actually got a lot of speed, because he's really good in the 100 butterfly too. So I think he's got all the pieces together, and as we know, when you're not fully rested, some of those pieces just don't fit. And you're just like, you're looking for it, you're hoping it's there, and it's never there. But I know 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now when he goes to Budapest, he's going to be on fire, and I think he's ready for it, because I think he's got something to prove. I think so.
I think he does too, and once he, you know, shaves and rests and, you know, gets a couple more weeks underneath him, he is going to fly, no pun intended.
And just kind of interesting to think about, he's going to be swimming in Budapest. Christoph Milak's home country. The Christoph Milak is the one who just broke Michael Phelps' world record in the 200 fly. I think the Hungarians are probably going to, you know, be slack-jawed to see there's somebody who can probably contend with Christoph Milak come Tokyo 2020.
Right, which will be so great. I'll tell you what, butterfly in America, we are just doing so awesome. So whatever you coaches out there are telling your kids, keep telling them, because it is fabulous.
Yes, it was absolutely amazing. So 2 great races tonight. Other great races in Reagan Smith in that 200 fly, just coming off of great world championships. But we got a lot more great racing tomorrow, including the return of Ryan Lochte. He is back in the pool. I think everybody's excited to see what he can do. He's got the 200 freestyle tomorrow, and I'm really excited to see what kind of times he can do. This is 2014 in Irvine.
He is so fast. I'll tell you what, he's had 14 months off, but hopefully he won't look like it, you know, come tomorrow. Yeah,
I think it's going to be just absolutely fantastic to see what he can do in that 200 free, and then afterwards what he's able to do. I think he's got like 100 frees and 200 IMs and all that. And, I think that's what everybody's here to see is Ryan Lochte, because it's been almost 2 years since we've seen him race. It has been almost 2. It was funny. We were talking about that in the meeting, and we were like, well, when was the last time we saw a Ryan Lochte at a Nationals? And we went through, what did we decide, 14? 2014 2014 Nationals. That was 5 years ago since we have seen a Ryan Lochte at Nationals. So this is going to be spectacular to watch. It's going to be absolutely great. And then you want to definitely come and watch us tomorrow on Deck Pass Live, because we'll be talking about it tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and then 9:45 p.m. Eastern times you see there on usaswimming.org. We had great guests today. We're going to have great guests tomorrow, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We're going to have races of the day. Other than that 200 freestyle, we've got the 200 breast and the 200 backstroke, and those are going to be fun to watch too. Again, we're going to be seeing some fresh faces in those races. I would love to see if Reagan Smith would want to do that 200 backstroke. I can understand if she doesn't. Right. She's had enough of the 200 backstroke for a while. But it would be great to see her. But you know, everybody's going to be chasing that new world record of 2:03. It's just absolutely unbelievable to think that is now the world record. Isn't that amazing? And it was so cute. She was interviewed after the race. And I love how she's like, it seemed like it was so long ago. I love her. Yeah. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's Deck Pass Live, presented by Xfinity. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, thanks to Ryan Held for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.